No, he left anyway. He's not interested.
Oh, man.
Keep talking about me. I don't care.
Okay, good. That works out well.
Introduce my Georgie to everybody. This
Hello,
is
Georgie.
He likes to say hi at all the meetings, and he says hi at the council meetings and the work sessions, and he's my
It's good to have
buddy.
coworkers. It's good to have coworkers.
Yeah. So Brandon, I saw your shout out for food truck night today on Facebook. Awesome.
Yes. It should be a good time. I hope we have some people show
Can't
up.
hear you.
Oh. Am I?
I don't know. Sometimes all you can do is call in like Lee and Dave Peters.
He should be good now. His mute button's off.
I could hear him on the telephone.
There you go.
Yeah, I got to start calling me Lee.
There you go. There you go. I like it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
Guess you had to use your loud voice.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have-
Food truck idea is a good idea to get the community coming out and, you know, just saying hi. They're doing it in Overley. Doris, is the first 2 weeks, were they successful, the food truck?
Well, the one was rained out, but the one we had last week was very successful. We have another one tomorrow night and then two
Okay.
scheduled after that. Mhm.
And what kind of truck do you have coming in Overley?
Oh, and Overly, we have on Tuesday, Boss Burgers. And the week after that is, I forget.
What do you have, Brandon, coming again? I saw it on Facebook. I know you have a dessert truck and a food truck.
We have a Greek truck coming out.
Oh, Greek truck, good.
So it's,
Who doesn't
Yeah.
like Slovak? Yeah.
My wife will definitely be there.
I know.
Mhm.
The spinach pies, you got to have that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hey, Lee.
And then Joe, can you call the ice cream guy or let the ice cream guy know?
Yep, I'll do that.
So is that like a soft serve ice cream
Yep.
or package ice cream or fancy ice cream? What kind of ice cream truck is it?
Soft serve.
Soft serve?
Yeah, you make sundaes and milkshakes and other stuff.
Oh, good. Hi, Senator.
Hello,
How are you?
everybody. I'm good. I'm good.
Hey,
Hey,
I know.
Brandon. Who's there? Joe's there. Ian Dave's there.
Mhm.
Alexis is there.
Good evening.
I'm gonna try to do it on my phone, but it says if you do it on your phone, then you have to call a certain number. So
Right.
I did that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still end it on your phone too.
I don't like
What's
sweet
that?
faces on my phone. It's too much.
Yeah.
I see
well,
it big.
so Cleo wanted to say hi to Georgie.
Oh, hi, sweetie. Hi. Where'd you go, Georgie? Come here. You want to see another puppy? Oh, no? You're not interested? Hold on, Brandon. What's her name again?
Cleo. Cleopatra.
Georgie. Cleopatra, Georgie. Say hi, Georgie.
This is gonna turn into a different meeting than I expected. I knew it.
I was gonna say I have an Athena and a Spartacus, but they're laying on the, I don't know if I can show them.
What am I doing down here too? I got two blocks here today.
I know.
That happened.
Everybody look at the doggies. I can put,
Megan?
Senator, I know you can appreciate this. I can put on Facebook something like the county and the state secured $4 million towards new full construction, and you'll get 4 likes and 3 shares. But I put my dog up doing something cute, and I get 100 shares and 600 likes.
Sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah, it's crazy
the
world we
Bevins.
live in.
People
And I
love,
bet the dogs get more than kids do too.
yeah, they do. Everybody loves the pups. Are you waiting for anyone else, Joseph?
It's always a surprise. What this Hollywood Squares is always exciting here. You never know what you're gonna get.
I'll take the middle for 100. That'd be you, Brandon.
Joseph,
Yes.
can you hear us? This is Gay and Dad.
All right, I'll rename you so we know who that is talking.
Okay, it's on Dad's new smartphone, but I don't have the Zoom app loaded. Can he participate without you seeing who he is?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put his name down so that when you talk, I'll know who it is. Sound good?
Okay. Are you gonna mute him if he is just listening or wants to talk? How does that work?
I don't mute him. He's not a loud guy.
He says he's a listener.
If he gets excited, he wants to yell something out, you go ahead. You do whatever you want.
Okay. You want
Oh, George is there. Oh, okay.
Is that Cathy? Hey, Cathy, it's Gay.
Hey, how are you?
All right. Okay.
All right. This is getting exciting. We'll give everyone a couple more minutes. I know signing in is always exciting. We'll get started.
I just think it's nice to see each other here a little bit.
It is.
Isn't it nice?
Even though Trevor's trying to hide in the background in his orange sweatshirt, it's just not going to work. So
Can't miss that orange.
Not so low profile.
not so low profile.
Oh, and a camo, maybe.
Yeah, very nice. Alexis, how are you doing today?
Good evening, doing well.
Um,
School's been busy. but
are you
good.
ready for your 5 to 10 minute presentation on being treasurer?
Sure.
Just joking. It
Okay.
has nothing to do with
I
it. I'm
can
just
look
messing with you.
real quick.
You should have seen your face.
Bet it was priceless.
All right. Well, why don't we get started? So I was talking to Denise Junis, and she apparently has a work schedule conflict now, so she cannot come on Mondays. So I will do my best to recap last meeting's notes, and then we'll go from there. But before we do that, if the representatives want to go first while I prepare that, we can do that, and then
Sure.
I'll have something better to say.
Sure. You want to flip a coin, Kath?
No, you were there first. You go.
Okay. Well, it is good to see everybody. And so many of us have been so isolated, and it is good just to see each other on this level, even when we can't see each other in person. But I was saying before everyone got on that Doris is online tonight, and Doris has been at work every single day since this happened, working in the district office, very isolated, not letting anybody in or out. And there's been a tremendous amount of work that not only has been getting done as far as constituent services, because people are noticing things as they're taking walks, because that may be all they have to do anymore. And but we are doing a lot. We've been very busy as legislators as well. We've been doing our council meetings online. You're welcome to be a participant at any time. We do our work sessions online. We were able to do our whole budget, which is a very long, drawn out process. It took us about 3 weeks to get through. We did the entire thing on WebEx, and the community could participate. And then we had the comprehensive zoning map process that we did online as well. So we really feel like, we haven't skipped a beat as far as government, and as far as executive office as well. They've been doing the same thing. And I'm sure, Cathy, that's how you've been doing business. And I'm sure if and when you go back in January, I don't know if that's been decided, and you can talk about that later, but thank goodness for technology. It is a wonderful thing. So I'm really glad that we have it during this very difficult time. Just recently, we've had a couple really important bills. One is about police reform, And I know the senator is going to be looking at separate aspects than what we looked at and what passed just last week with Baltimore County. But, this has been a topic that had been happening for, I'm going to say, a good 2 years with the police union, talking with the administration, talking with communities. And it seemed like things had just heightened, the more videos that were released. And then, of course, when George Floyd died, that was, a hard 8.5 minutes for anybody to look at. We wanted to work with the police. The police reform bill is not an anti-police bill. First, I want you to understand that. I quite frankly am tired of the way that the police have been disrespected. And I don't think it's fair for a lot of police that are out there every single day, men and women, getting up every single day and protecting us, the citizens in Baltimore County. However, we know that this is happening in a lot of the big cities, so why wouldn't it happen in Baltimore County? And we want to make sure that something like that never does. So Julian Jones was the sponsor of the bill. I ended up co-sponsoring it, and it really just involves a lot of training for our police officers. Our new police chief, Melissa Hyatt, is really restructuring the police department and looking at a lot of community policing, de-escalation techniques, working with non-speaking English citizens, which can be a problem. Mentally ill people, sometimes police get called where somebody's mentally ill, or maybe they're high on drugs or alcohol, and they're totally not behaving the way they would normally behave. But the police don't know that, because maybe they've never had an interaction with that individual, before. So it's really trying to get the police to have more of a communication with communities. And I think it's going to be a really good thing. One of the major pieces that was in the bill was chokeholds, because we all know that was what took the life of George Floyd, not being able to, he wasn't in a chokehold, but inside the arm, but underneath the knee. So a police officer's life has to absolutely be in danger of his own life before he can use that now on a person who is, maybe under arrest or under suspicion. Because look, at the end of the day, I think we would all agree here that I want all police officers to go home safe at the end of the night. And I also want people, whether they've committed a crime or they've been pulled over and detained, I want them to go home safe at the end of the night, or to the detention center unharmed at the end of the night. I think we all want that in our society. The de-escalation was a really big piece of this bill, and how you de-escalate people and bring them down instead of like reacting, first. But, our police officers are all trained this at the beginning in the academy. And I'm sure they're frequently, have to go through these retraining processes. I actually went to the training academy about a month and a half ago, and I was shot 5 times. So I was dead 5 times over in these simulations that they have. And I got to tell you, I don't know how police officers make these, sudden last minute, decisions on, who could have a weapon, who doesn't have a weapon. Somebody that they can talk out of a situation and not have other people aggravating the situation. So it taught me a lot. And I took a few of my colleagues with me, and we had a better understanding of how serious, whether you're in a grocery store, in somebody's living room, a hallway, a back alley, how serious and these situations can be. So we had the FOP, the police support for the bill, which was really good. So the police, the administration, the county council, and the communities all work together. And Doris can tell you, we received tons and tons and tons of mail on this issue. And maybe on both sides, but there was more about reform and doing what we can to protect citizens in Baltimore County. We just passed the tenant relief bill last week. And what that is, during the pandemic, we've had these, you can't evict somebody at this time if they're affected by COVID. They can't evict them. The landlords, are supposed to work with the folks and work within whether they're getting unemployment or maybe they're getting some monies from their job. Everybody's situation is different. But what this bill does is while the person is being affected by the pandemic, not only now can they not be evicted, they can't be charged late fees. Because we all know every time you get a late fee and a court cost, it just snowballs and you just can't get out of the situation after a few months. So you can't add late fees. You cannot send the credit report to the credit, the folks that rate your credit, because it's just such an awful time for everybody. And we don't want to put these dark spots on people's credit reports when it's through no fault of their own. And once the Baltimore County comes out of the state of emergency, this will go on for an additional 6 months to give people time to catch up. It seemed like the civil thing to do for people. We have so many people, and I know you all probably know somebody that's affected in one way, shape, or form by COVID, whether they've been sick, they've lost their job, maybe only one person in the family's lost their job, their hours been cut. Yes, Joe. Yeah.
What do you do for like the landlords who are affected by that too then? Because you can't evict people when they don't pay. How does that work for them?
Well, it's tough for the landlord too. So we did put in the bill that if you're you only owe 3 or less units, you don't fall in this category, because there are so many people that only have 1 or 2 homes that they're saving for their retirement or for their children, and they have to make their mortgage. Not to say the big guys don't have to make their mortgage too, but they all came together and they didn't fight the bill. Actually, Izzy Patoka took about 4 or 5 items out of the bill. He worked with the apartment lobbyists and they didn't fight the bill. They understand the way that this is, affecting people's life. Now they are expecting people to pay their rent if they're not COVID affected, and that didn't happen at the beginning. As soon as the governor said you can't be evicted, there was a lot of people that just decided not to pay their rent. And that was unfortunate, very unfortunate. And because they knew they couldn't be evicted. But now they have a list of people that they're working with. And, most landlords would never take partial payments ever. Now they are. So let's say you have a $1,200 a month rent, you get your unemployment, but you need to put food on the table, keep your phone working, heat your house, whatever, and you only have $700 or $800, they will accept it. So they are accepting partial payments, which they've never done that before. So I think that's great, because even though you're going to still be behind, you won't have to catch up for so long. So I thought that was a great bill to pass as well. What else did I want to talk a little bit about? I'm introducing tomorrow night a piece of legislation that I think will be very helpful to some places in your neighborhood. How many people are so sick of just seeing tractor trailers parked all over Baltimore County road? They just park them and leave them. We had a huge problem in Hartford Park, by Franklin Square Hospital, at Greenlee off of 43. Where else, Doris?
Glendale, Glenmont.
Glenmont. So these guys, they just, park instead of paying.
Hazelwood Park East, that's the big one.
Yeah, Hazelwood Park East.
Yeah.
So they just park the great big tractor trailer. Sometimes they leave the back of the trailer and just take the truck. I have a film of a road called Crossroads Circle in Greenlee that for almost 1 mile on both sides of the road are tractor trailers, campers, big buses, U-Haul trucks, you name it. These are neighborhoods. These are neighborhoods that people have to look at this. So I'm putting in a piece of legislation that says no overnight parking. And so most people aren't going to just leave them during the day, right? If they can't park there overnight, they're not going to leave them. And then for the Greenlee area, because it's become such an issue and it's a huge new residential area, no tractor trailers are allowed. It's an overlay that's going to go on the property where no tractor trailers are going to be able to park at all for any length of time. So we're really hoping this gives relief. The police just fine them now with a ticket. And then once they get the ticket, they can't be ticketed within another 24 hours. So they kind of just accept the ticket and pay it. But in all fairness, there is a lack of parking for some tractor trailers. And we do have someone that presently owns land down by Allison Transmission, right near the 95 exit in White Marsh. And he is zoned to do the project. He just needs to work on getting some county right-of-ways. He wants to put a tractor trailer, a truck stop in, where they can get gas, they can take a shower. There's a Wawa across the street. I'm sure they'd have some amenities for the truckers. That would be so great, being right there on 95. It's not intrusive in the neighborhood. It's back in an industrial area. And I think that'll help with the situation too, with truck park. And not only is it unsightly, you can't see. Like on Franklin Square Drive, they have all these different office buildings, medical office buildings, and you come out of these roads, you have to come halfway out into the lane because you can't see the tractor trailers. You know, they're 15 feet away from the entrance, but they're just so big you can't see around them. So it's a safety issue too. I guess the only other thing I want to talk to you about that I know was important to you, and I know that Hartford Park is really glad that this didn't happen, was Pappas is not going to be a rural farm store. He was very happy not to do that. He was just taunted with a lot of money from rural farms. It would have been an awful project for that corner. It would have been so intrusive on the community behind them, because the Pappas property goes back several more properties behind the restaurant. So they could have built even further back. There would have been high, lighting on 24/7. I think that would have been a terrible place for cars to get in and out so close to the Beltway, the Pairing Parkway light there. And the community of Hartford Park, it actually falls in their boundaries, but I did tell them about you, and I know that they did talk to you about it. They said that they told me that you liked the plan and you didn't have any objections to it, but I don't think you really knew that you had an option of you didn't have to have it. It wasn't zoned for it. And they were really more upset about the gas pumps than anything. They didn't want the gas pumps, and they were worried about crime. They've had some issues across the street at Maria's and in that little strip, and Hartford Park, it actually falls within their boundaries. They were dead against it. Dead set against it. I talked with Steve Pappas 3 times, and that other corner across from where the restaurant is, that's where he runs his distribution center, where he mails his crab cakes, and they do other things there and send it up to the other restaurant. He was just looking for a way. It's a very old building and it's not doing what it needs to do. So he just thought he could sell that property and go lease space or buy property somewhere else and do it. So we, as the county, we have economic development. They're going to work with him and they're going to try to see if they can help him with loans, grants, whatever it takes to get him to rehab that building there, keep it in the community, keep the jobs there in the community, and just have a more adequate building for him to be more productive at it. So I got to tell you, if you ever go in Pappas, and he's not there, write a little note to Steve and say, just thank you so much. He really worked with me, and he said, look, I don't want to doom the neighborhood. This neighborhood's been supporting my family for decades, so I could use the money. Farm stores, they're popping up, Wawa's popping up all over the place because they do pay a tremendous amount of money for properties. They put their gas pumps in, they put the car wash in, it's a great convenience store, but they belong on business corridors, like, they just opened one on Blair Road. And, now that the road's fixed and everything, it's great because Wawa's and farm stores aren't, destinations. It's not like, oh, let's get in the car and drive to the Wawa farm store. You're on the corridor, or you're right there, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get my cigarettes, my coffee, my chicken, my milk, whatever you need. Just the community. Nobody drives 8 miles to come into your neighborhood. It's mainly just for the neighborhood. So we thought traffic would really be an issue there, and I knew there was no way for them to put an extra lane in. The space just wasn't there. So just know that's not happening now. And Steve Pappas was really great about not doing the deal. So I was very grateful for that as well.
Lee, I think you had something, Lee?
Yeah. How do we keep the people who are going into Dunkin' Donuts or coming off of Taylor Avenue, turning into Dunkin' Donuts as do not enter? Supposed to be going up to Beverly Avenue, going in that way and going into the parking lot.
So they're going in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously, they know the sign's there. They see the sign. I mean, besides having the police there to ticket them, and I'm not even sure you can ticket somebody for a sign that's on private property like that, Lee. I'm not sure.
The concern I have been a couple accidents, and it's there during the accidents, but I think probably did because somebody can't read the sign that's really, not huge, it's a decent sign.
Right. Do you think they don't see the sign, or they just don't care the sign's there? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, why would you care? I gotta go get my donuts for me, myself, and I. That is the philosophy of the younger people. Me, myself, and I.
Of lots of people, may not just be younger.
That's true. That's true. That's
Thank
true.
you.
Well, I didn't know. So you're saying there have been accidents there because of it? Well, you would think Dunkin' Donuts would want to do something about that. So people aren't having accidents on their property, or their customers say, I don't want to go to Dunkin' Donuts anymore because those people drive like crazy. I'm afraid I'm going to get in an accident. So that's more of a private property issue. I mean, we can let the police know about it, but I don't know what the police can do for, I don't even know if you can ticket that. I have to ask the police. I don't even know if that's something you could ticket somebody for from going in the wrong way because it's on private property. It's not like going up a one-way street, where a cop can actually give a ticket for that. It's just the entrance to, it's a safer way to enter and people aren't using it. We can ask about it. Did you have anything else, Lee?
Nope.
Okay. And I just want you to know when the extraordinary job the county has been doing during the pandemic as far as feeding people. And I'm sure it's important to you.
But they can get a ticket.
I have, we are still feeding our school age. They can pick up 2 meals a day. All they have to do is somebody has to go, there's a list of the schools. Not everything, single school is open and doing it. Probably about 4th or 5th school.
You think so?
And you go and you pick your 2 meals up, your breakfast and your lunch. You do that Monday through Friday. And then on Saturdays, we're feeding all over Baltimore County from the north to the east to the west. Fresh produce, 30 pounds of canned goods and non-perishable. And then on Sundays over the Jewish population in Pikesville, they're serving, giving the food there. About 2 weeks ago, I got the report and we had given away over 7 tons of food at that point. And a lot of it is nonprofits, private sector, people making wonderful donations, like H&S Bakery gives bread every single week for this entire county to be given away. There's certain businesses that we've been able to count on week in and week out to feed people. And, we just shouldn't judge people that are waiting in line for food. I've heard people say, oh, they got a nice car and they're in line for food. What does that got to do with it? they hardly have any money coming in, you know what I mean? People don't wait in a food line for 2 hours before they need it. And if they do, if they don't, God bless them, let them wait in line and get it. So we're doing a tremendous job feeding people, not junk. They figured out the calories of the person eats. They're making sure all those calories are within enough meals for the week. For a family, they ask you how many's in your family. You know, nobody embarrasses anybody. If you say, I need extra, they give you extra. And starting next week, they're going to have dairy, they're going to have milk, cheese, yogurt, and one other thing I was just told in an email. So they're trying to get as much fresh stuff as they can. And I'm guessing maybe produce may start slowing down. So they're trying to replace that. So you should feel really good about what the county's been doing to help people with COVID shots, the free shots, the testing, the contact tracing that our health department is doing. It is a huge responsibility, and still every day, you know, we have plenty of people in Baltimore County who are getting tested and many coming back positive. And, you know, it's a lot to do the contact tracing to figure out who they've been around, you know, contact people. So I just want to say, citizen of Baltimore County, you should be very proud of the volunteers that are working. And it's just been an awful experience to go through, but I've really seen the good in a lot of people come out during this pandemic. And that's been very good to see. And we've seen a lot of bad too, but I prefer to look at all the good that people are doing. So, and you all may be doing something I don't even know about, you know, and thank you if you are doing that. Just helping a neighbor, or checking in on a neighbor, or fixing a meal for a neighbor, or helping someone out and getting them to the doctors. You know, it really makes a difference for somebody that's a shut-in right now and terrified to still go outside. So thank you for that. So I'll take any questions if anybody has any. Yay. And you know what's good about Zoom? I can just keep saying, what? I can't hear you. What? What?
All right, excellent. Senator Klausmeier?
You're up.
Well, what do they say? All politics is local.
Yeah.
And I commend Baltimore County for all of the things that Cathy has said that they've done. As far as me in Annapolis, it's kind of long range. We will be having session in January. It will be a session like nobody's ever seen before, I'm sure. And we were lucky enough to, not lucky, but what happened is they got a doctor from UMBC and a few other experts in like the air conditioning and flow of the air and everything. So they're really getting ready to put that to good use. And we will have plexiglass in between each of us and all kinds of different things like that. So Bill, our president, has been working on that for, I guess, the last 2 or 3 months. So when we get into session in January, we're going to have to change a lot of the different rules that we've done and take it from there. So, and his biggest concern, again, is the safety of everyone. And for the senators, it's not too bad because we have enough space and there's only 47 of us. But for the House members, being 141, they're having more of an issue of how to handle this whole thing. But so we'll see how that all goes. I have been busy and my office has been busy with the unemployment fiasco that we seem to have. I mean, there's some people that still, it's been 2 and 3 months, they haven't got their money. They just got a new system about 3 weeks ago for the beacon system, and hopefully that is going to try to make things easier for them to process. So we'll see how that is. It's been very disappointing that we have been slow on the get-go on this whole unemployment. It's been, I was getting like 15 to 20 emails and calls a day there for a while. It kind of went slower, but last week it started picking up again, and we haven't figured out why it has. So, but anyway, that's been keeping me very busy. I've had many phone calls with the Secretary of Labor, and we get together like every other week, a group of us, just to talk about how things are going and what we can do to make it better. So I've even told the secretary she could have Evan if she wanted him, because he's sort of like being an expert in this. I say, go ahead, take him, help, you need help. So she said they hired 76 new people last week.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that all the folks that do the background, not the background checks, but the adjudications, when you go back and look at different employers, you got to do 3 employers to get the basis of what you end up getting. So they are all attorneys. So, I mean, it's so much more to unemployment than anybody would ever think. So, and I've learned quite a bit myself. So that's where I've been doing a lot. And I'm on the financial and capabilities committee, and we've been trying just to figure out how we can help with student loans and any kind of financial kind of issues that we've been working on. Trying to promote our 529. If anybody wants to start a 529, to get your kids to start saving money, please do so. I think that would work. Let me see what else is going on. And of course, we are having the police reforms, but I'm not on that committee, so they've been working. So, well, I'm just waiting for the end result and see what they're going to have. And the same with the housing situation, the rent, and that goes, I believe that goes through the same committee as well. So we haven't had them. So things are moving along, and this time next year, I probably would be able to tell you a whole lot more, but we'll see how everything went. But I'll see you in April when session is over. Now, for me, I have decided, and I'm probably the only one that has said this, the only thing that we have to do in Annapolis is pass the budget. Nothing else matters. So I suggested they start working on the budget, and they can't really do a whole lot until the governor hands down the budget. But they can start looking at that, go in for a couple weeks, pass that budget, and just get out of Dodge, and that's it. But a lot of people fall in love with their bills, and they'll have all their bills, and so I think I'm probably the only one that has said that. So, but I just don't think that we all need to jeopardize our safety just because a year, 12 months is not that long to wait for a bill to pass. So some states do that. I think Virginia does. They have the budget every other year, I think, and it's odd how they do it, but
Virginia.
What's that?
It is Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia. Well, not West Virginia, but Virginia. I say that more. But
Senator, do you have any information about the state of emergency for Maryland? And do you have any thoughts on where the governor is with, how long he thinks it'll stay? And, our numbers have been low, but we're watching everybody else climb around us. And
no,
so
the governor doesn't talk to us. You know when I know, when it's in the,
okay.
or when he talks on TV.
Right.
And
Right.
he has handled everything quite well by himself. And I'm a little jealous when I talk to other legislators and they say, well, we sat with our governor and we discussed that. But I have to say, our governor does not talk to us. So what else can I say?
So just so everybody, the county executive does his own thing, and he has kept us in that state of emergency. We've done 3 extensions, maybe 4, because then this money that keeps coming in to feed everyone, and the PPE. Right now, we're getting ready to try to acquire a warehouse to keep everything in, because we've been keeping everything in trailers, tractor trailers and things like that. And after so long, the heat, the cold, it's not good for the materials that are in there, the mask and things like that. So I know we're going to be looking at probably spending upwards of $7 million trying to get a warehouse. So that tells me, I think we're going to be there for a while. And I just didn't know if you were getting the same.
No, I have no idea. And I really think no one has any idea. Now, I don't know what the governor is thinking, what his plans are, but if it goes the way that many say, we're in for a bad November and December and January. But who knows? But that's what Dr. Fauci said anyway, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
for sure.
It's been frustrating to the extent that we all find out when you all find out, and we have had no input. So that's the way the ball bounces, and that's the way he governs. So
Bipartisan, as everybody would like to think.
Yeah, well, and we were very fortunate that we had JB Jennings, Senator Jennings. He was the minority leader, and Senator Hershey from Cecil County was the whip, and so they were the leaders of the Republicans. But some of the Republicans decided that they worked too closely with the Democrats and got things done, and they ousted them. So now we're going to have some. I don't even know who it is, but it's not going to be as pleasant as it used to be, because JB, being from Baltimore, was really good for us, and he did a fantastic job. And
he's actually my senator, and we don't do a lot of work together, but I can depend on his office, and he can depend on mine.
Right.
And he's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Because our 2 districts, his and kind of go together, and so we do some things together. And also it's a shame, because I like the atmosphere that we have in Annapolis right now. We do work together, and we always have, for the most part. And what they set the tone, but there were a few, and I guess there must have been 8. I think that's how many they had to have to oust them. So it's not going to be as cordial as in the past. So anyway, we'll see how it all works out. So I don't know if anybody has any questions for me. There's, as I said, there's so many different committees, and each committees, they're all Zoom, and so, but we all can't be on the Zoom, and I don't have the opportunity to say, hey, what are you doing? Not until, I guess, we all get together in person. We'll be talking and looking at the different bills. So,
well, please be safe when you go back, please. So be careful and be safe, because we need you.
Yeah, well, I'm trying my best.
Think you had something, Dave?
I have a question for the senator. I was just wondering, I know you're probably not on the finance committee, but where are we getting all the money that's being spent for by everybody in Annapolis? I know that we're not having money coming in now.
And
where are we money?
Our budget is going to be strained immensely, and the money comes from, I guess, our taxes and that sort of thing. But there's going to be quite a few cuts, and services are probably going to be cut. I mean, because we just don't have the revenue coming in. for the education at this point. You know, everybody needs to go to the casinos, but they're down somewhat. Not as bad as they thought they would be. So, you know, that's part of it. So, and with the election, we have the gaming bill so that you can go to put your sports betting in. So that should bring some revenue. If that passes, it's one of the questions. The other question is about the budget, and we'll be able, if that passes, we'll be able to move around different things within the whole legislature. But that's really a funny thing. One year, this bill has been around for years and years. And one year, the one senator had every member of the Senate co-sponsored it, and it still died. I mean,
How does that happen?
oh, because the governor never wants it to happen, and it doesn't
Oh,
matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican.
you
It
can
just
stop it. Yeah.
it's our budget has. I think the way we do it is one of the only kind in the whole United States, and
Mhm.
so well, so far he has, and there's not been a she. So it's they like that control. So
One other
Question-
question.
Question A is education, correct? Question A on the ballot is the education.
is that the one for the sports betting? I don't know. I don't have my ballot yet.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I think it's A. So people, you want to vote for that, for the education dollars. Make sure you vote yes
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
A.
and I don't know how
Oh,
people feel
there we
about the betting, but
Got it. Joe, is question A for the education?
oh, you got the ballot?
Yeah. Yes.
It is it's on state budget process.
Yeah, that's the one I said. I voted for that. I've always I liked it, but I've always supported that effort. So
He's where they go from question 1, 2 to question A. Why wouldn't they just have numbers? But that's another.
Mhm.
so, but, and so if everybody just remembers when you get your ballots, if you sent away for them, fill them out real quick and just look online and see where your nearest drop box is and get it in there.
Mhm.
I'm person.
Lee, I don't, you know, you asked where we get the money, but we are going to be real tight on money. So we did for the unemployment trust fund, we had to take a loan out from the federal government because it's just really been, you know, going down.
Has any of the CARES money been able to be used for unemployment? Do you know if any of that?
I don't believe so. How way back when. So
Mhm.
we just got that $300 allotment,
Right.
Up to-
but it's tough. I mean, and we all know, I mean, people aren't spending money out at the stores the way they
No.
do. Gas is a problem because people aren't driving like they used to. People,
Mhm.
and that's going to be a problem because we fixed the roads for the transportation projects because of the gas tax. And so aren't driving, people have the electric cars, so they're using less gas. So we really need to look into the future of how we're going to situate and how we're going to figure out what we're going to do with that. So
What about the big ed bill that the Democrats have been talking about?
what bill?
The one for the,
Doctor, or whatever his name is, it's gonna cost $400 million.
The education. I don't know what's going to happen with that. The problem that happened is they put in that bill all the school construction money that we had set aside. And so the bill passed. So the governor is in between a rock and a hard place because he doesn't know whether to sign it or not. But I really, personally, it's got to wait. That's my feeling. We can't expect to spend that kind of money. And I wanted to wait last year anyway, so I voted for it, but I didn't, I wasn't ready to push the button to say, go ahead and start right away. I was hoping they would just gradually over the next 20 years do it, but it didn't work that way. But anyway, so it's on hold right now. So we won't know until January what's going to happen with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because we don't meet until January. So nothing's going on now. So we'll
Nothing
keep,
gets finalized till then?
what's that?
Nothing gets finalized till then?
No, that's when we start working again as far as the bills go. Bills are not passed between April and January. We start working on what we're going to prepare for the following year, but nothing gets passed unless there's a special session, and there's not going to be a special session.
Zoom session? No, it's online.
Yeah. Well, that's what we may end up having our committee hearings all on Zoom, so.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, so they'll be streamed, so everybody will get to see everything we're doing, so.
Yeah, that's what's so nice about the transparency, everything that we're doing. Anybody can go on the websites and at their leisure, they can just watch anything that we've done recently. I mean, not that it's exciting, but you can still go to it and get a lot of information. Doris, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you, did we have anything for Hillendale Park that we needed to share on any updates or anything like that? I didn't ask you at the beginning. You're good. Okay. All right.
Okay,
All right.
you know what I did find out, and I was talking to the county executive and he said, oh, you're getting 2 PAL centers and one is down in McCormick.
Right.
And I said, well, where's the other one?
Victory Villa.
No, well, he said that, but that's not in my district.
Right.
Your district too, Glendale.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Glenmore.
Glenmore. And that's across Taylor Avenue, right?
Pardon me?
Black Raven Boulevard. No?
What did you say?
Is it by, see, I thought it was over by, off of Lock Raven Boulevard. Over the,
It's in Middle River.
oh,
So
well,
both these PAL centers I advocated for, and
Yes.
I had asked for it to be at the Martin Boulevard Elementary School because I thought that was a better location. But as they looked at the boundaries, we don't have any PAL centers except Mars Estates on the east side. Then we go all the way up to Hillendale, and then there's one at not Red House Run, Shady Springs.
well, it's not that, but that isn't even working anymore. There's no police there or anything. So
Right.
I did bring that to his attention. So-
Right, but these are gonna be brick and mortar, so these are gonna be more, they're gonna be funded out of the police, just like they were back in the day. Police are coming back in, and they're gonna be a separate brick and mortar building, just like at Hillendale.
Right.
They won't be inside their auditorium or their cafeteria. So, we're just coming up with the money for that. That was my number one priority last year. And we may make them a little bit larger. So let's just say Hazelwood Park East wants to have their community meeting in the PAL Center instead of the school, they could. They're not community centers, they're PAL centers.
Yeah, well, that one at Shady Springs, that's the one that, that's what happened. They just started putting a whole bunch of different stuff in there and took it away from the kids. So, and
Yeah. But we're not gonna let that happen, but that doesn't affect their neighborhood, but they're great centers. They keep young kids, they can go right from walking out of their school building over to a PAL center, whether they work on
Right.
homework, arts and crafts, or some kind of, sport. And then they're open till 6, their parents pick them up. Some of them, like Hillendale, they can even get a hot meal. It's a huge help for parents with daycare for their children who really can't afford just those couple hours after school. You know, they can pick them up right after work from these PAL centers. So it's a great cost savings to family. Your child's safe. They're not allowed to leave the building. And, you know, they're just not out running the streets or home on their video
Right.
games.
Right.
So the one near us is the one on Halsted.
They get mentored by police as well, which is a great thing. I'm sorry,
Wow.
Joseph. What'd you say?
The one closest to us is the one on Halsted, and you said that's open, or is that the one that you said did not have staffing?
No,
Oh,
he'll
so,
he'll
yeah,
have staffing.
yeah. And just to, you talk about the police, again, the police, that's in a complete different committee in Annapolis, but where you went, where Councilwoman Bevins went to the training program, we all got the opportunity to do that as well. And just for the record, Kath, I shot first, I didn't get shot.
Oh, good for you.
Hey, as soon as the tape came on, I shot. So, you know.
I didn't want to hold a gun. It wasn't even real. And I didn't even want to hold a gun. I was so terrified. And I just didn't want to be involved at all.
Well, that's why I figured if I just shot and got it over with, I'd be done.
She was so good. The first woman in the first scenario, the officer was just yelling at me. And I guess that's what she does to the recruits down there. And I just like melted down. I was just like, I don't even want to do this now. I'm terrified. But yeah, I got shot several times. So I'm glad.
But I think it was a very, very good. And I just hope the folks that are preaching about how terrible the police are, they went and took the time to go. So, and because that really, you got to make that split decision.
It didn't change some of their minds.
Oh, it didn't?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Yeah.
But for me, you know, I don't want an officer running down a dark alley, 3 o'clock in the morning after a suspect. You don't know if they have a weapon, don't have a weapon. You know, somebody says they may have a weapon. I don't want them taking a split second to think about oh, wait a minute, what, you know what I mean? And then them lose their life, you know, so that was very important to me too.
Yeah.
You know, that,
I agree.
have the training. We just need to let them do their job. And we now know there are bad apples. I'll tell you the one thing that I did learn, Kathy, and I think this was very interesting. And I think that this group will find this interesting. I was talking to the county executive and Chief Hyatt about, you know, the code, the blue code, you know, where officers don't tell on one another, right? Or they're kind of ousted and treated differently. And I said, I think that's a problem where police can't just openly talk about something they saw or didn't think was handled well, unless they go to, what is it called, internal affairs. And then everybody knows you go there, you know, so you're kind of ousted to begin with. And the information that I got in return was that last year in 2019, there were 200 and some citizen complaints about police officers across all Baltimore County. Okay, I want to say 201. Don't quote me on that, but it was right around 200. But there were over 600 complaints, police against police, internally. And I thought that was an eye opener. And I'm wondering if that's because, you know, we now have body cameras on our officers. They know the camera's on. Then that's my pet peeve. You shouldn't be allowed to turn it off. You know, a lot of times all of a sudden it's just off and goes back on. You shouldn't be allowed to turn it off unless you say, oh, my wife's calling. I'm going to turn this off for a second. You know, I mean, I'm going to have a conversation with my wife in the patrol car. But for 600 officers to be, you know, complaining about other officers, that's 3 times the amount of civilians complaining about officers. So I think we're turning the bend here on, you know, officers, you know, being truthful and saying, look, whether it was their partner or somebody else, I didn't like the way they talk to this person, or I don't think they had to behave in this manner. Maybe they were out of line in their questioning. Look, cops have bad days just like we do, right? But they're not supposed to take that to work and affect other people. And so I just thought that was interesting. That statistic was
Yeah.
interesting. That,
I don't know if, I know they have, through the police department, they have the citizen there. So, through the outreach programs that.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
So, but you guys might want to think about doing some of that. So
Mhm.
it's kind of fun, I guess. And I'm sure you would be in those situations. So.
What is that called, Doris?
I got,
On patrol.
No, not Citizen Patrol.
No,
Where-
but the
Oh, that-
outreach program,
Yeah.
where you go, like,
Oh, for the training? I don't know.
no, well, the training, but it runs through the,
It's a Citizens Academy?
Citizens Academy.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Citizens Academy.
But it goes through when, they have the monthly meetings of the police and the citizens and the police meet,
PRC.
Yes,
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
Police Community Relations.
right, yes, that's it.
I don't know if you guys attend that in your area. I guess Hartford Park has an officer that comes and gives all the stats and all, but this is different. This is a group that you actually go and just hear for your community what's going on, police wise. And you in turn get to talk to the police and say, well, we've noticed these out of state cars hanging down here. We think there's drug dealings, or, there's a domestic issue over here. But the Citizens Academy, actually, John that passed away in your community, what was John's last name in the wheelchair?
Bateman.
Yes, he was just getting ready.
Statement, you're right.
He was going to sign up for that and go through that before he got sick. He was very interested in that. So that could be something someone in your group may find interesting to do.
Okay. I know normally I call Officer Tillman, who's the community outreach officer. Probably every couple of weeks or so, just say, hey, what's going on? How is it your perspective on our community? He would have been on tonight, but apparently today is a holiday and he didn't want to come
Columbus Day,
for fun, I guess. So.
And
or
I can't,
Day, whatever.
I can't even say that word.
I know, right? I mean, all of a sudden.
Mhm. So he did mention, I just asked if he had any update for our community in terms of crime for ours. And he said it's been very low because so many people are home and walking around. It's really reduced a lot of that, which was a positive. And he said, wow, I wish every community was like your community. I said, okay, cool. That's better than it has been.
Yeah, that's one good thing out of the pandemic. Crime is down. Oh my gosh, and pollution has been down a great deal because not as many cars have been on the road and factories were closed, and but that's a tough way to get it.
Well, I have to say good night and goodbye.
Mhm. Okay.
Everybody later. I have to go down and get my daughter and
Yeah.
keep me busy too with the kids,
Oh, yeah.
the babysitting and that sort of thing, and taking them here and there. So,
Good seeing you.
yes. So
Thank
take
you.
care.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Would you guys like me and Doris to drop off and just continue with your regular meeting with all your, treasury stuff and all that?
If you want
you don't-
to.
That's what-
I'm not, it's a pretty transparent system. You can see it on YouTube either way, so.
Okay.
I got a quick question, Kathy.
Yeah.
We're
sure.
supposed to have our water mains replaced in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Has the pandemic pushed any projects like that behind, or are they still on time?
I haven't heard that they've been pushed, back. We'll see what happens with the budget. But a lot of those things have already been, in the budget, and they're preparing for it. And we're really, hoping that all these infrastructure projects keep happening. It's keeping everybody working. They're all outside our contracts to do that work for us, and so, I mean, we'll let you know if we hear anything. But, I got more roads paved during the pandemic than any time because they're working. They were out there working. They could work safely outside with their crews. And so all the roads that had been on my list for a while, they got done. And so I was really grateful for that. So they are trying to keep up. I know our permitting department kind of really slowed down because they weren't letting anybody work. And that's a really difficult agency to run without people actually handing them a permit and an architect drawing. And it's very hard to do virtually. So they were really slowed down for a while, but I just got an update that they are back. They're finally caught up. They are finally caught up and they're on day to day now. So we're trying to do businesses as usual, you know, and doing our thing.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for all you've been doing. And I just want to say, if you still have a paycheck and you're doing okay and you can support your local businesses, please do that. It's so, so important. And there's been, that prediction was 40% of our businesses will not be coming back because of the pandemic. So if you've got a small restaurant or a little business or anywhere, you know, please make sure that you support them. Makes a difference whether they, you know, stay open another week or so. And please vote, go out and vote. If you haven't already gotten your ballot, you can early vote. Now, remember, your normal precincts will not be open if you're going to vote in person. Not all precincts are open because they had a lot of difficulty getting workers to work inside the precincts because of COVID. So wherever you're normal, you vote at Lock Raven Academy, right? Where do you vote? No, you don't vote there.
Great.
Trevor?
You'll vote same place, right?
The old Lock Raven Elementary.
Lock Raven Elementary. I don't even think they're on the list. They're not
Yeah.
even on the list. So check to make sure. We can send you the information. It's on the county website under the Board of Elections as well. Early voting, Honey Go is open. And
College, Towson University.
yeah, so
Academic building. I like
we don't want people going to the regular polling precinct and then go, what? There's nobody here on November 3rd, and then being frustrated that you have to go. You know, I just saw lines today. People waited in line 7 hours to vote.
Georgia.
In
That
another
was
state.
me.
In the rain, babies in tow, umbrellas, chairs, 7 hours. So there's multiple ways. I'm going to vote in person because that's just what I do. But please go out and vote.
The early voting open now? I thought it was the later
No.
this month.
No, if you have your ballot, if you got your ballot, you can do a drop box. You can take it and put it in the drop box.
They waited 7 hours to put it in the Dropbox?
It was
Oh,
in
no.
Georgia.
That was people waiting in line to vote, Dave. That was people waiting in line to vote.
So that is early voting is starting now.
Pardon me?
You're saying early voting has started?
No, it hasn't started here.
That
No.
happened in Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia did.
Okay. I was like, wait, I'm confused by that statement. Okay, got it. Thank you.
No, early voting has not started here in Baltimore County. The mail, if you have your ballot, you can drop it in a drop box, but that physically go and vote early, that's not till the week before November 3rd. Doris, do you have that date? I think it's the 20, it's the Monday through the Saturday.
I'm looking for it.
Because I'm gonna early vote.
October 26th.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Mhm.
And I think the hours are different. It's like 10 to 7. They're not open real early in the morning. It's 10 to 7.
Okay.
Or you can go out on election day and, but they're really asking people if you can early vote or do your mail-in ballot, do that because they're expecting long lines for this election. And we don't want people getting frustrating and turning around.
No.
For sure. For sure. All right, well, I'm gonna sign off if you don't have any more. Georgie's sleeping, Brandon, so he can't say goodnight to Cleopatra. He's over here, he's actually snoring
Nice.
on the floor, so he can't say goodnight. So it was good seeing all of you, and you all know you can call the office anytime or go on the council or Facebook page if you need anything, okay?
Thank you.
Maybe I'll
Thank
see
you
you in the
both.
future.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll see you on food truck night. That might.
Sounds like a plan. Get some Greek in you. There you go. That's good.
All right. Good night, guys. Have a
All right.
good one.
Thank you, Doris. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you for all you do.
All right. That was exciting. So I am going to say that was a lot. So I'm probably not going to review everything from last meeting, if that's okay with everyone.
That's fine with us.
It's on YouTube if you want it. So there you go. So for this meeting, we have a couple of things going on. We have an election. We have a new representative for treasurer. Would you like to give a brief overview of who you are and why you want to be treasurer? Not 10 minutes, 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, and go. No, so I have lived in the neighborhood since for about 10 years. And like I had stated before, I just never been able to come to a meeting. And I feel very honored to be nominated to get your money and help our community. No, but I really want to see more people here. Like I'm a little disappointed. Like I know everybody got their little flyer. Like where is everybody? So I would definitely like to try and just get more participation and see more people in our meetings and just try to help out as much as I can. I agree with some of the statements some of the people made that we have a nice little neighborhood here. I don't want to leave. I like it here. I've been here for 10 years and counting. So I'm excited to take on the new role.
Excellent. Excited to have you. I guess we'll vote for president because I've been asking if Trevor would be willing to do it, but he keeps giving me the no, not going to happen. So I will go for re-election if that's okay with everyone. So we can motion for votes on those real quick. I guess I don't know what the formal way to do it on Zoom is. You could do a yay, nay with your hands up or down, I guess. That's a way to do it. I think everyone's on video, so except for maybe George. Did he disappear anyways? Okay. So I guess we'll start with this. I motion that Alexis Arellano, I don't know if I said that anywhere near right.
Ariano. Close enough.
Ariano is our new treasurer for the upcoming term. If in agreement, say yay and raise your hand.
Yay.
Okay. Unanimous. I motion that I would stay as president for the next term, unless someone else is excited in the middle.
Yay.
Lauren, do you want to run?
Nope.
Just giving options. We give options anytime. And just so you know, according to our bylaws, you can actually elect a new person any meeting, but we just happen to have it come up every couple of years for it. So if you get really excited about it, let us know the next meeting. We can get you in there, whatever it takes. All right. So that would be.
I nominate Joe for president.
Yep, that was already done. We're good.
Oh, okay, good.
So it looks like it's unanimous. I can't vote for myself, so I will say 7-0. That in the meeting minutes done. I would ask, I know because our secretary is no longer able to come to meetings, if someone can help me with notes, that would be greatly appreciated for the future. I am not the best note taker, but I try my best. But
I have notes.
okay, awesome. If you want to send me them after or just send them off to the email address, that'd be great because then I can just compare and see what I missed during the meeting. So that would be awesome. And yeah, that would be great.
Joseph,
let's see. Go ahead.
always put yourself on YouTube and take notes.
Yeah, I'm not the best person in the world. But I will definitely compare what I have from what I've tried to do with someone else and say, okay, let's add that in. I missed that part completely. That definitely happens. But yes, what else was I going to mention? Our new treasurer's report, as Alexis is taking over, we have $955.88 in our budget right now, or in our bank account right now. We had 13 people join this term alone. So I should say dues have been submitted for 13 people. So that was exciting. We are good for the 990N as of 7/1. So we're good till next July on that. Brandon, you wanted to give any more details about the food truck rodeo?
We're doing a rodeo Friday, or food truck Friday. We're going to have a Greek food truck at the corner of Conduit and Clearwood. And then we're going to try to get an ice cream truck up there and, give people, a lot of people still are, kind of afraid to go out of their house, afraid to go out. So this will give people in the community a chance to kind of get out of their house and, they feel safe to go to a food truck and bring food home and kind of, give us a chance to meet each other and be socially distant, but still get to meet neighbors.
What
I think
time
it'll
is
be
it?
a fun event, huh?
5 to 8?
Yep.
Okay.
5 to 8 Friday. So the Greek food truck has mostly gyros. They have a couple Greek salads. They have chicken. They have pork. They have lamb. Really good food. And the gyros are like $8 to $9. So for a food truck, it's very reasonable.
Do you have their menu somewhere that I could post on like Nextdoor or something maybe?
It's probably on their Facebook. I'll check.
I pulled it off of their Facebook page. I don't know if it's the most current, but it's what was on there.
Yeah.
We
I
might
put
want to
it
just
on-
ask him if that's what he wants us to post. That way, like,
Okay,
people
yeah,
aren't
that's a
up
good
there
idea.
like, huh, what do you
Right?
want to eat?
Oh, prices have gone up.
Oh, it's been up 25 cents. I don't know if I should get this today. So, okay.
I did put it on Nextdoor and I put it on Facebook today. I know Aaron shared it to a bunch of people. So if you guys get the invitation and if you want to share it to a bunch of people, I just hate for 8 or 9 people to show up and they spend a lot of their time and money, trying to do this. So I'd like to have a really good support for the food
Yeah.
truck. And if it
And
works.
did you send it out to more than our community when you did it on Nextdoor too, or no?
Yeah, Nextdoor is sent out to more outside of the community. So, but, and then we'll evaluate and see if we like it and maybe do it, once a month or so. And they do it in Lock Raven. So I don't know if it's too close to Lock Raven, but, I think it's good for us to get together and, maybe our next food truck will be during our Christmas party,
Sounds like a plan.
our Christmas caroling event. So,
More details on that ahead.
yes.
Did your truck pan out or did that not work out? The great cookie or something I sent to you, Joe? Do you remember?
I did follow up with that. I failed.
Because it was just something that always came to my school, but it was like called the Great Cookie or something. It's a food truck cookie. And you can buy them single or by the pound, or it's a great hit with the kids.
I did not realize that. Okay. I'm sorry. I lost. See, this is where I fail.
It's okay.
That would be good for the holiday thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Possible. I like that plan.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see. That was food trucks. We get election.
And one more thing is community cleanup. I'm going to, within the next weeks, reach out to the county and try to schedule a date for that for next year. So I'm looking at maybe the first weekend in April as a
The dumpster days.
tentative date, dumpster day. So, but I'm going to start scheduling that within the next few weeks. So by our next meeting, we should have a date for that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Yes. All right. So that is good. All right, guys. Don't forget, if you haven't done your census, do your census. I guess that's important. I get like about 100 emails of that every day, it feels like. I really like to pound that in there. Yeah, I think the senators and representatives mentioned most of everything else I was going to say. So awesome. I just want to say have a great day. It's very good to see you all. And Lee and Dave, very good to hear you. And that worked out much better.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. All right, is there anything else you guys want from our community to put in the notes?
Hope to see everybody Friday.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Do it.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, have a
Thank
great
you. Good night.
Well, good night, everybody.
Alexis,
Yes.
I wanted to